Our first games draft, here we go. So the Paquito as well as the Valentina banned out. With the Paquito being banned out, Paquito is one of the counters towards Uranus. I don't know if AP Brand still wants to go for it now that they banned it out. But if they do plan to go for it, then they have to ban out the Dayrov at least.
Yeah, I believe the Dayrov was used as well. I'm trying to figure out if Aura Fire did pick that up. I know that yesterday in one of the games when when was it Onyx or was it Aura Fire against Todak? No, it was Bigatron Alpha against Onyx, where Bigatron Alpha went Uranus 2 games in a row, and Onyx had Dayrov as a counter for both games. So that could be a possibility, but I can see the AP brand, they are showing a lot of respect to Kimura by banning out the Paquito. They also are banning out Hyde, Franco as well. This could allude to a possible Joy opening for AP brand as they ban out the Fanny.
Ooh, okay, Franco out too. So yeah, Joy is one of them. I guess high mobility ones like the Lancelot could be open to. Hayabusa could be another option for Aura Fire. If not, then I would say I'm thinking around the lines of, but it's definitely the Fedrin will be one of the early picks. And if AP Brand doesn't pick it for themselves, Aura Fire would go for it. But AP Brand, they don't have a common record of playing Fedrin.
Yeah. And there's a chance that this, because Link and Fanny are banned out, the Novara could also be a pick, you know, AP Brand falling back to what they're comfortable with. The Yeeve is going to be the choice of ban for Aura Fire to wrap up the first phase. Many openings to be taken, and there it is, the Joy picked by AP Brand. Very, very straightforward.
Yeah, so now when it comes to the mid lane, yeah, Fedrin is definitely going to be picked up by Aura Fire. It's played commonly by their XP lane. So I am seeing a Farsa be picked up now that Valentina as well as Yeep is out. Farsa, there is a potential of a Novara as well, now that we are cutting down on the majors.
Yeah, and we also have the Grok in the equation, right? One of the best answers to a Farsa. If the Farsa gets reviewed, I would say for AP Brand, they are not as inclined to pick Farsa as Aura Fire's Sin. So that could be a less contested pick. I think the Farmers is kind of still up on the table if, you know, AP Brand wants to go for it. Why? But they're going to go for the Angela themselves.
Oh.
Taking a page out of Bigatron Alpha.
Yeah, because they didn't ban it, right? And you mentioned about how the Indonesian teams, they love how to play the Angela strat. So rather than giving it away to them, they'll take it for themselves. So now that the Uranus has been picked, okay, this is the moment a Dayrov can show up. Like the best moment. They can still pick it.
I feel like it would be okay if the Angela wasn't in the equation, but with the Angela, with the hard guard, it's going to be a bit tougher, right, to kill the Uranus unless you absolutely dominate him early game. I have an answer though, the Esmeralda wouldn't be too bad because Angela gives you shield, Uranus has shield, Esmeralda loves to siphon the shield away. We'll see if that's going to be the case for AP Brand.
Okay, so the Kaja pick is really to try to catch the Joy when the Joy starts running into team fights. And if he's able to keep like the flicker, like for later use, at least he can protect the backline. And that will be really important because the Joy will try to target Claude, who will be at the backline. But now we're going to the second phase ban, and we still see the Dayrov still open though. I'll be surprised if Aura Fire don't pick any tank shredder. If it's not Dayrov, then I want to say Carry, but unfortunately they already got the Claude.
Who else can? I also think that Esmeralda would actually be a fairly decent pick, but that also means that they're relegating this Fredrin into jungle role, which is completely fine. You can see that they took out the Leslie because you don't want anyone to shred the Fredrin. There's a high chance Aura Fire also bans out the carry because they don't need a marksman anymore and they want to keep the front line as robust as possible.
Yeah, there is that. And there is also the... Okay, taking the time to ban though. Alright, so it's still a Kadita. So no Dayrov ban still. I will be surprised if Dayrov is not being played. Because yeah, you can move the Fedrin into the jungle, Dayrov goes to the XP lane and go with a 1v1 matchup with Uranus. just pushing him back and drop that. Even if Uranus chooses to like cut the wave, he can just turn back and either he goes onto the Uranus, just pokes him directly, or he goes in and cut the wave himself as well. Dyrov is pretty flexible in doing that.
So Aura Fire bans the Grok. They're still missing a mid laner, so this could be a faster mid lane still. To find out it's gonna be the Esmeralda. There we go. AP BREN reading it correctly. I think the Esmeralda would have really ruined the plans of AP BREN because you just take away what Angela and Uranus are good at. Aura Fire, they're gonna get the Farsa for Sin. You know, the Grok ban is very telegraphed of it. So far, Aura Fire is still playing within the confines of their comfort.
Yeah, I see the Farsa pick because the fact that S-Ride combo with Kaja can be very disruptive, especially at the early stage. You got good enough burst damage at a long distance even. So you don't need to worry about, okay, I'm not in the right position when Kaja jumps in, that's fine. So now they can still pick an XP lane or a jungler, but if they do either one of that and they go for Dyrop, that means they will be sacrificing mobility instead. And that will be a risk of trying to catch the Joy then.
AP BREN gonna take for themselves too. Still looking for a potential jungler and marksman. I mean, there's the Beatrix available, and there it is. The Beatrix and the Rome actually will be the Minotaur. So we do see the Angela mid, just like what Bigotron Alpha did earlier on. I do love what AP BREN has. Beatrix is one of Super Marco's best hero as Aura Fire. They're gonna lock in the Teresa to finish things off. So this is gonna be a jungle Fredrin. I mean, how do you feel about the drafts?
Ooh, a lot of mobility on AP BREN, and they have Uranus that will be very disruptive. But the good side about Aura Fire is that they have a lot of team fight stuff. So you got the Teresa who can open up the fight as well, or you have the Kaja who can open up the fight. You have good follow-ups from Claude, good follow-ups from the Farsa. So I think they're going to go for more team fights instead. But they need to be aware of AP BREN just being annoying, like cutting waves or going for, I wouldn't say split push, but at least cutting waves to just try to dominate a certain lane.
And there's not much ways to stop the Uranus in this game. I suppose with the Teresa it's not the worst, right? But in terms of cutting waves, Uranus, he won't face as much resistance in this game. You see the thumbs up from both AP BREN and Aura Fire, which means that we are getting locked and loaded to head into game number 1 between AP BREN and Aura Fire. The El Clasico, the Wild Wild West, the final showdown, the last ride, one best of 3 to determine who makes it to top 6.
Okay, here we go. Keep your eye on the SP lane. I really want to know how FlapTZ is going to play, or how Aura Fire is going to deal with FlapTZ during the laning phase. Because when he hits like what, level 3 or level 4 especially, he can start going backline, he can start going into the base, and we have seen that multiple times. He can cut 2 waves at the same time in a certain position, and that allows him to scale even further.
Oh, yeah, Kimura, he might go down to flicker forward and lock up on it up, Kimura! No way, he just walks out like that. That's
What?
2 for the start of Aura Fire. I mean, Kimura surviving. Brace might heal. His passive damage reduction at low health. That is unfortunate for AP BREN.
That was insane from Kimura. Unfortunate for AP BREN, but that was insane for Kimura. Like, he really trusted his teammates to come follow up to him, and he has measured the amount of damage that he can take all at once.
By the way, they blew 2 flickers just to kill him, and they could not. Kautizi in the meantime, level 4, trying to run after High, does have the ultimate to work with. High's going to go over the wall. Kautizi just could not get the finisher. As Sin shows up, I mean, Aura Fire off to a great start. And this does give a bit of problem to FlapTZ, right? He's 1 level behind. Kimura's going to have the items to deal with, and now he can really start pushing back on this Uranus.
Okay, so now with Kimura having a bit of an advantage, we can see him using his first blood advantage to push back FlapTZ. Now, FlapTZ is being pushed back. Not only that, Kimura has backed up from Van, who has joined him at the top. So they really want to lock down the Uranus, not letting him play the top lane like his playground.
Yeah, and you can see they're just gonna do it in tandem, right? Both, both Van and Kimura working together Van's gonna start on the turtle just a little bit. AP BREN will see this happening, but not that easy to get close to BREN. Not when Kimura is around. Forcing the flicker for few already. He's gonna go for the recall. Turtle is pretty much gonna be going to Aura Fire, no contest.
Oh yeah, great start here. They not only got the 2 kills with the first blood, they also got the first turtle as well. So far so good. But keep your eye on the top. We see a little bit of a skirmish here as they try to steal away the purple buff. And yes, they did. Van, they didn't want to secure it. Again, another mini win for Aura Fire.
Yeah, and the fact of the matter is, you know, Kautizi is not even there contesting. He was the bottom lane trying to fight for a gold crab. So this purple buff, unfortunately, is just not going to, you know, be in his favor. And Aura Fire actually, you know, having a minor advantage over this game. 1.7k gold lead. It's gonna keep on increasing. 2,000 in just a little bit. Good news is that AP BREN, they're able to stave off the snowball, right? Aura Fire cannot convert the lead so far.
But you know what? The one thing that we learned from AP BREN's first game today is that it doesn't matter how you start. It matters how you end, or matters how you finish. So yes, nice lead here for Aura Fire, but they need to keep out the momentum to the end because anything can happen from what we learned.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We have already witnessed some crazy series today, right? This is probably the best way to end it all. Ogwen, gotta be careful. Van's gonna chase after him and force him out of the jungle. What AP BREN has been playing is that they play towards Super Marco a lot, right? You want to make sure that this Beatrix has a good time. And so far, it hasn't been looking good because you're not supposed to be... You know, Kabuki isn't supposed to have so much freedom. This matchup is Beatrix's favorite, and yet Kabuki is ahead.
Okay. Flat PZ now doing what Uranus does, cutting the back wave. And he's just doing... Okay, now that he has gained like a good amount of levels, probably good amount of items from the cut of the wave. So he's joining on to the team fights now, but they need to regain back their jungle because it's been invaded by Aura Fire from the start.
Looking for the purple buff again, but easy. Doing his best. Crazy Drive even used by Van. The purple buff actually goes over to Phil, who deals with the hard wave. And now Van is trying to disengage. Kimura caught out. Flicker to safety. Flicker from Oakwood with a Minon raid, and instantly Sin uses the better airstrike onto all 3 of them. AP BREN still finds the kill onto Kimura, and Van is gonna be next. Has no combo points to use, and ultimately he's going to be brought down as well. The Divine Judgment onto Kautizi. Not enough damage to finish him off, and AP BREN walks away with 2 kills. Phil still going. Kabuki shows up with a blazing duet, gets knocked up instantly by Ogwen. There will be 2 for AP BREN.
Oh, the turret was actually targeting onto Kautizi, but somehow he managed to get away from that last shot just by the last tick of health. And with that, they managed to even up the numbers. At this moment, AP BREN have a little bit of a leeway in terms of gold against Aura Fire.
And, you know, probably the best case scenario, right? You even up the scoreline, you even up the net worth of both teams, kind of making up for a slightly unlikely early game. And of course, for everyone watching, we do want to, you know, get your feedback with us as well.
Oh,
just like how High gonna get the Divine Judgment that is not gonna finish off Super Marco, unfortunately. But yes, do share your feedback with us using the link down below, bit.ly/SPS MLBB-EN. Let us know what you like or what we can improve on so that you will continue to enjoy our broadcast for Mobile Legends Bang Bang. We would love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, enjoy, just like what literally Joy is doing right now. Just being a nuisance towards Van, who invaded their jungle. And now Sin as well as Kimura is here to back him up.
There we go, pick up forward, Ogwen with an arc-up, Van couldn't get the ultimate off, he's gonna go down to Flap TZ, Kimura with the penalty zone, getting onto 3 of them, locking them into place, but he's the one trapped with them, and once more Kimura somehow escaped with a sliver of health. The better airfare was used, again, High knocked up into the air, Kautizi running on top of him, and electrocutes him to the grave with the help of Phil. There's 2 more for AP BREN, Super Marco getting the snipe with Kimura, won't get him off. So once more, AP BREN finding 2 kills.
Okay, but they're not done yet though. Kautizi going all the way to the back. Kimura needs to flicker away to safety, but Kautizi, he's not done yet though. Okay, Van is in between Owen as well as Kautizi, but they decided to disengage.
This is AP BREN slowly winning these skirmishes and I mean, Open is creating so much opportunities for his team just on his Minotaur. Meanwhile, on the other end, Kabuki free farming. You can say the same for Super Marco as well. Both the marksmen finding space for themselves as AP BREN. They're gonna start working on this third turtle, and there's no contest from Aura Fire.
Yeah, so now AP BREN has the lead. This total secured. Let's calculate the numbers. 1,200 ahead of Aura Fire. Just like that, and they're starting to scale right now. And with this scale, well, FlapTZ, they needed 3 onto him, but can they get the kill onto FlapTZ? FlapTZ is still dancing around. And look at his HP. What does it take to take him down?
They need some kill reduction, right? I mean, they just don't have enough damage with the Angela helping him out. Van's gonna unleash the ultimate, but I mean, absolutely shredded by the Nibiru. Super Marco just destroys him.
AP BREN. Okay. Looking over at the items, it does look like, okay. Dom Ice, definitely a must-have, considering they're going up against the Uranus. But they, on the side of AP BREN, they also need a Dom Ice for themselves because there's a Terizla who can be really, really tanky. But they seem to be saving that for later, not too bothered about the Terizla just yet.
Oh yeah. Kautizi is having a field day, just running to the backline of Aura Fire, who are trying to defend this tier 1 mid as best as they can, and so far they will be able to hold the structure, but at the same time, if you're clumping up S5 so early on, you are essentially giving space up on the rest of the back.
Alright, speaking about space, now FlapTZ moving down to the bottom lane, trying to find space and opening up the map for his teammates, but nobody's gonna have a care for FlapTZ for now. It's just not going to be worth it because they don't have the damage or the type of heroes to be able to take him down.
And you kind of also want Hai to be kidnapping people with the Divine Judgment, right? So you can kind of get these pickups. Easier said than done though. It feels like Aura Fire, they just do not have the means. Like sure, every time Hai drags someone back, the Angela's going to use their ultimate and suddenly all that effort will be for nothing. Van does get the taunt though, massive damage from Kabuki on the field, but unfortunately not enough.
Yeah, now that the Lord is up, we can see both teams prepared to take it. Aura going towards the Lord. Van will open up the Lord first, but FlapTZ is there, and there's nothing they can do about FlapTZ now.
Yeah, he's just gonna put his body in front. It's a harass Aura Fire as slowly, little by little. And the best part about AP BREN right now is that you can send Field to a side lane, which is where he's at now. So he's gonna push out the side lane, and whenever he needs to join a fight, he's just gonna pop an ultimate and show up, right? Just attach himself to the teammate that needs him the most. So while Aura Fire is jostling for control over the Lord Pit, you are going to have a side wave that's getting slowly shoved out by the Angela. This Lord Dance, quite a while.
See a tangle here between the two, but now the Lord is down to 50% of health. Still a long way to go though, because we don't see the big damage coming out just yet, and everyone is not really committing to the Lord 100% because they know that the snipe will come in.
And there it is, penalty zone. It's going to be concealed as well. Hai looking for a smash, and they do. They grab Ogwen. Perfectly sprung trap from Aura Fire to find 2 kills for themselves and the Lord. Kimura pushing FlapTZ away as well. Few joining in just a bit too late. And the fact that Super Marco got caught out was what Aura Fire needed.
Yeah, Aura Fire needed that. Aura Fire needed the turtle because they don't want the gap to be too big. But overall, FlapTZ still stands tall. And not only that, he managed to get a couple of kills in the process. So he's not only a big chunk of wall, but he's also able to be a brick that can be thrown onto the opponent and take them down.
Yeah, Aura Fire, they do have a silver lining with just the Lord. So AP BREN will have to defend against that. So oddly, it's definitely a slightly slower game, right? Slightly odd. AP BREN, I do not believe I had seen them run this Angela Joy before. I think they definitely are, learning a little bit from what Bigatron Alpha has brought to the table. But so far, both teams are kind of at a stalemate.
Yeah, playing a very disciplined game. Yes, they do have a Joy that has a lot of mobility, but Joy does not necessarily give you that instant burst damage up front. So it's not like they can go for pickups that easy. And plus, they need to be careful of the Kajal on the other side as well.
Yeah, the bottom tier 2 has already been taken down thanks to the Lord. And now this High's Divine Judgment becomes slightly more deadly. AP BREN will need to show a lot more respect to this Kaja down the road.
Oh, okay. They're just pulling them back right now, okay? Bringing them to somewhere that they can start a fight. Flap easy now at the front. High will be the first target, but High is not the target that they want.
There's no flicker for Oakland, but the airstrike used already. Unfortunately, Flapteezy is still alive. They got the penalty zone. Big knockout from Oakland. It's been 1-for-1 trade so far. Super Marco able to take out Kimura, and Sin gets run down by Kauteezy. Van staying alive as much as possible. Big Appraiser's Wrath for a kill. But it's still AP BREN coming out on top. And meanwhile, Kabuki in danger. Kauteezy almost grabs him down. 2-for-3 trade in favor of AP BREN.
That was a close one. Nice sidestep there by Kabuki. But after all that, the first turret is still up, but it will go down really soon. There's nothing that Hai can do about this. Kabuki joins in. Hai cannot catch anyone because he does not have the Divine Judgment to his after, and plus he doesn't have the flicker as well. 95 seconds more to go. It's going to take a while.
Oh, it definitely is. I mean, look at this replay, right? Despite Flapteezy doing so much nuisance, and Open instantly just engages. All the while, the Aura Fire were not able to get to Super Marco, and he just shreds the health bars of Aura Fire.
Yeah, and look at Van. He's tanking this like a champ. It took Super Marco, the one with the highest damage dealing hero on the side of AP BREN, to take it out finally, but that is after suffering like 3 casualties at least.
Aura Fire once more, calling dips on the Lord. That is what has been keeping them in the game. Is being able to get Lord and get the side lane precious, but I do not feel like it will be as easy as the previous one.
This time it's definitely going to be harder now that both teams are starting to stack up in terms of their items and level as well. But BREN, they are playing the disciplined game. They're starting to fight now on the mid lane.
Instantly, Ogwen shows up once more. Big knockup onto Kimura, who cannot move at all. Flapteezy soaking up majority of the damage. What are you going to catch? Lord dropping low already. Van wants to finish off there. I'm going to blow out Van! And it's perfectly executed by AP BREN. There is nothing that Van could have done in that situation. Aura Fire forced to retreat as AP BREN takes the Lord.
Oh, and look at Flapteezy's position. He's like, yeah, just going in front, opening up the map, just being a nuisance, and there's nothing that you can do about it. He's pushing the rest of Aura Fire back, and with that, they'll be able to take the turret.
And just start to see that massive damage by the top wave. It's going to be dealt with by Kauteezy. Mid inhibitor will be down. Lord coming in bot as well. This is the empowered Lord, so AP BREN, they might be able to crack open a second inhibitor turret.
Yeah, that's very high potential because right now the top lane, Aura Fire is busy.
Aura Fire, how do you defend this? The Lord charge again, inhibitor down to half health. They might need to use the Feather Airstrike. Ogre continuously healing up his team. The rest of Aura Fire desperately try to hold on the structure, but it's just not doable. 2 inhibitors down in one fell swoop.
Ooh, like what you mentioned, like what you predicted. Looks like the inhibitor turret is down. Now, the focus for BREN is going to be on top. The minions are there, and they still have Flapteezy at the front.
And Kimura just solo defending by putting his body in front. They will be able to hold his structure, that last inhibitor, keep it alive. But look at AP BREN, almost 7.3k goal advantage, 7.5 now. Next Lord in less than 90 seconds.
Yeah, and items-wise, pretty much almost done. We have the immortality onto Ogwe, meaning that he can open up fights as well. But it does not need to expand the immortality. It can be a follow-up, especially if you have a chunky Flapteezy here in your team. But for him to open up fights as well, he needs Aura Fire to be able to get there. Aura Fire, they're smart enough to know that the Minoan Fury will be waiting for them if they all gather up for like a party.
And Hai, he's just gonna get run down. Nothing that he could do in this situation, and now the electrifying beast if he can use Kimura with the penalty zone instantly. The counter engage from Awkward, big Minoan range with the knockout. They all just stand there as Kauteezy dances on the dead bodies. Kabuki couldn't do enough, and AP BREN finds 3 kills.
Yeah, again, Flapteezy into the base, just showing himself, and now showing dominance over Aura Fire. I mean, Aura Fire, there's nothing they can do about Flapteasy. He will be in the front, okay? No minions, that's fine. He can still tank out, no issue. And now they're trying to counter back.
Kabuki doing his absolute best to keep this intact. Hai will be back. Does have the flicker and divine judgment. This could probably be the last chance. You can see the conceal play. Hai instantly goes in, gets the pull, knocked up as well. Can they do enough damage to defend the base? And they can. No kills for Aura Fire, but the base stays intact for now.
Well, that is also because the Lord is already up. So for AP BREN, it's like, yeah, it's okay. You can defend that spot, but you won't have enough time to come and take the Lord away. You can see the movement here coming in from Van, but there's not much you can do, especially with Flapteasy at the front being the bodyguard.
Yeah, a very hopeless situation for Aura Fire right now. I mean, how do they come back from this?
Ooh, I guess they need to deal with Super Marco, which is way, way behind. But the problem is, how are they going to get to Super Marco? Okay, who has the mobility to go onto the backline? If you kind of think about it, none of them from Aura Fire. They don't have like a Lancelot or that kind of like assassin who can go in behind. They're probably the best bet is for Hai to be able to catch Super Marco, but even so, the distance will be too far for him.
Many things. I mean, I guess if they hit to the late game, you have your fair share of damage, right? You have Fasa and Claude, but I honestly do not think that they are going to get to that point at this rate. One last push, the third Lord charging down the middle lane. Aura Fire needs to do with it as best as they can. You can see Kabuki just churning all of his damage to the objective. AP BREN continues to slowly poke and prod at them. Flapteasy absolutely fearless. The Lord will drop. But Aura Fire, they gotta do something there. They're letting AP BREN run circles around them.
Yeah, and they gotta be careful about gathering up as well because the Minoan Fury is active. Well, they can somewhat counter with a penalty zone, but that is also with the condition that Kimura is not caught in the fight.
Van sustaining massive damage again. Ogwin fading back. Kabuki once more forcing AP BREN to retreat. I guess we're going to be waiting for the fourth Lord to possibly end this. 80 seconds until that happens.
Yeah, and we have more than 50k goal for these two teams. So in general, these teams would have completed their items. So items or goal lead will not be a big issue for now. It's all about who can make that right execution or who will make that first mistake will be punished because we're heading into the 20-minute mark game. Potentially, which team gets wiped out can be finished off in just one push.
Absolutely. Death timers are starting to get unbearably long. Aura Fire are taking control on the bottom side. Let's make sure that Lord spawns. They will have some sort of presence, but they just still know what to do with Flapteasy, right? The best candidate is going to be Kabuki. After he hits that late game, he's starting to do massive damage, but even then, getting to AP BREN is a tough task on its own.
Yeah, getting to the back line. Super Marco, how are they going to reach him? At this point, 513 KDA. Flapteasy will be the front line together with Ogwen. They got two front liners if we think about it. Of course, Flapteasy will be the main one, followed by Ogwen because he can still follow up in team fights with the Minoan Fury. But if you look at AP BREN, they can deal with the backline. They have Flapteasy, they have a Joy who can just run onto the backline. So they have that versatility, that option to deal with Aura Fire in the fight.
Oh yeah, fourth Lord spawn already. Van does see this happening, but he needs his team with him, right? Kabuki will have to be the difference maker. Kabuki and Sin somehow get to the backline. If they can catch Super Marco, it's gonna be not a win, but they will save the game and put it back where it belongs, the neutral state.
Oh man. Okay, Van just poking. I hope he's not doing favors for BREN. Just winding out the life of the Lord and then BREN just finishes it off. It will be heartbreaking because he's doing a lot of work now. Flapteasy still at the mid, just taking care of Kimura, but that will be the main target. At some point, once they see that the Lord is low enough, they will go in onto Van.
Kabuki's gonna be in the brush as well. Trying to chunk it down a bit more. Flapteasy taking massive damage. There it is, a concealed play into Divine Judgment. Not enough to catch Kautizi. You have the hard guard on top of him. Kautizi now to jump back in. Can they secure the lock for Aura Fire? He needs it, but no! Kautizi! Oh, the hero for AP BREN, steals everything from Aura Fire. Now Aura Fire gonna witness Kabuki needs to go massive on this plot. Blazing Duet still in hand. Kabuki, can you save the game for your team? Zaptidi taking massive damage, losing in terms of health. AP BREN, they already lost Ogwen, but Aura Fire decides that this is not the fight that they want to commit to.
Well, they lost Ogwen, they lost the tank, that's fine. They still have Flapteezy as the main tank, so it's not going to be an issue for them. Unfortunately, the purple buff will not be secured by BREN. And now, for AP BREN, they can march in together with the Lord.
Could be the final push. Kimura needs another 20 seconds to be back on the Terizla. All 3 lanes are getting shoved in. The Lord down mid. They will have to deal with that first. Kabuki doing as much damage as possible, but he's going to be pushed back by Kautizi with Angela on top, and they're just going to try and run it down. AP BREN trying to force the end. Kabuki is going to be there. The Lord dropping low, Blazing Duet unleashed as well. Crystal still fairly healthy. The Lord has dropped, but it's going to be mega kill streak for Kautizi as he runs up Kabuki. The Angela keeping him alive for so long. Kabuki is still alive. Aura Fire is still alive in this game.
Somehow Aura Fire managed to defend this, and now they need to clear off the minions. But there was a great move by Kautizi going on to the back line to catch High, because he saw High was slow. He was about to go back, and now Kabuki, look at the amount of damage taken as well as dished out by Kabuki.
And the Feather Airstrike just to keep AP BREN back, only temporarily. Kabuki has no Blazing Duet right now, so if there's no Blazing Duet, then it's harder to clear the wave. That thing just came back off cooldown. Aura Fire, they have potential opportunity. Kautizi concealed up. Watch out for Sin. Awkward straight in with the knockup. Instantly taken out by Sin, but they're gonna try and run circles around Aura Fire. Sin back in the fountain, dies in this fountain of all places. Kabuki pushing Kautizi back. As the rest of Aura Fire trying to keep the base alive. Kimura barely surviving. Van and Stilwell fell. Kabuki going huge. Field down low. Kabuki still firing away. And Aura Fire again keeping AP BREN away from their base.
Oh, Kabuki cannot continue on firing because he needs to defend his base. Oh man, this is hard for Kabuki. He wants to get the kills, but he can't because the base isn't being invaded by the minions. And now again, another reset time for AP BREN. But let's watch this replay from the previous fight.
I mean, look at Sin, right? This guy just dies in front of his fountain thanks to the love waves from Few. So unfortunate. That they probably could have went for more chase if this Farstar was still in the game, but she will respawn just in time for the Lord to respawn as well. The 5th Lord of this game. Surely if AP BREN gets it, there's no way Aura Fire will be able to defend against it.
Oh, they have to make a choice now. If they want to go in for the Lord, they need to be careful of the wave. So this is where it's a very difficult choice for Aura Fire. What are they going to do now? But they cannot lose the Lord. If not, they risk losing the game as well. But Kimura now is in trouble. Suppresses himself. Kabuki from the side lane, but now Kabuki will be chased away.
Yeah, not enough. Even with the Trunken, they get the drag onto Awkward, but Kabuki needs to go massive. The Blazing Duet not doing enough. And Kautizi just finds the opening and electrocutes him. Super Marco with the flicker gets the 3rd, and this game has finally concluded. There's nothing left in the tank for Aura Fire. Sin wasn't even in the fight because the base was under danger. And High, what can you do against the full force of AP BREN? They're gonna let the minion wave push in. Everyone is dead for almost a minute. One last artillery strike from Sin. Nothing can be achieved. And AP BREN looking to close this out. Sin dies to Super Marco. And game 1 in the hands of AP BREN.
Oh, the defense from Aura Fire. Really buying a lot of time towards the end, but to no avail. They cannot even come out of their base at some point, so it was really difficult for them. AP BREN, as long as they don't make the mistakes, they'll be okay. And what we learn again from this round is the Uranus. If you don't have a tank shredder, there's almost no way to take him down.
Yeah, absolutely. Nothing, right? It was such a tough game for for Aura Fire to kind of hold, because they didn't have enough damage, and we saw a lot of maneuvers from High to try and drag and kidnap the members on the side of AP BREN. Even then, it wasn't enough. Kabuki, you can see that this